So if you do the first part of this video, you're going straight to hell, all right? Now, we're going to talk about how to dominate their mind using hell, first class hell strategies, and then
the strategies that takes you to heaven. Look, she's in heaven right now, people. She's in hell, same person, kind of wild. And these strategies are really just, this one is meant to defend you. It's meant to inform you how some people might manipulate you. And that one is meant to teach you how to do it the right way, okay? So if you manage to do any of these and you find yourself at the gates of hell, don't talk to Jehovah about Father Alex, because I'm in heaven, all right? So if you guys want to learn these strategies about how to use it and that one, you can purchase a one-on-one session with me by clicking on the description down below where it says work with Father Alex. Now look, y'all got to stop asking me to move up the discount another week, because y'all going to make me look like a liar, all right? It's over, okay? So that means 15, 30, 45-minute sessions you guys can purchase, and there you'll be able to talk to me. Not an AI, not my assistant, but Father Alex, okay? All right, let's begin with the video. So the first thing you got to realize is that using these strategy, there are some things you can't control, right? And the first thing is that they either will like you or they won't. It's that simple, right? And how do you know that? Well, you could tell that from the beginning by the way they react to you. The first time they see you, they can't control themselves, right? There's an uncontrollable urge to be with you. They respond fast. You could tell they give you the vibe of like, man, this person really likes me and they don't know me. What's going on is that they are projecting. Meaning, this strategy is really about using a person's insecurity from the start. And the way you know that, it's because from the beginning, they already start thinking about being in a relationship with you. They really start seeing all of the potential that you guys have together. And this is where a lot of you ladies do this shit, where you guys meet a guy that you like, and then all of a sudden you start fantasizing. And once you start fantasizing, the fantasy, you start seeing the fantasy, but you never really see the person. Because there's a veiled screen of emotions that's causing you to not really see what's going on behind here, right? And so what happens is that with this strategy, you see them react to you instantly, and you could just pull away a little bit, and they start chasing. What's really going on here is that you have to be his weakness or their weakness. I don't know why I put his, right? Hers, his, it, right? You have to be their weakness, right? And how do you know that? Well, pretty much you have to be the opposite of him or her, right? You have to be the opposite. What do I mean by that? Is that usually people who trauma dump other people and they get obsessed really quickly, usually they're the opposite of them. Usually the person is more introverted and you're more extroverted. The person is more afraid and you're more out there. The person is more of a person's more sober and the other one uses drugs. They're usually opposite. Person is really spiritual and religious, and the person is more carnal and more hedonistic, right? The opposites will always be addictive to each other. The opposites, right? Where somebody's an avoidant and somebody is an anxious attachment style. And you could kind of recognize if you're opposites by just observing it, right? And so when you meet someone who's your opposite, all you have to do is be willing to walk away, right? And what happens is that then your absence does the dirty work for you. You don't really need to do nothing to mindfuck people. Honestly, like I remember I've dated this girl many years ago, and I didn't know she liked me. Like, we were friends. She used to play baseball with me, and softball. We were in a softball league. And I would tell her about the women that I would date, or I was dating a girl. And it took years later for her to tell me that, Alexis, I actually really liked you, and I just didn't know how to tell you. Well, what she told me was that she used to be like almost like tortured by it. And I'm like, what do you mean tortured? She was like, when you told me about your friends, or when you would travel, or when you wouldn't come and play ball, I would really feel depressed. And she told me how it was devastating for her. And I didn't know. I'm a nice guy. Like, I don't like knowing I hurt you, you know? But what happens was that I was the complete opposite of her. And her own insecurities were making these things in her mind, and she was falling in love with me through her own insecurities, right? I reminded her of her uncle, actually. her uncle, who was actually a father figure to her. And her uncle was Cuban, but looked kind of like me, which is kind of funny. I actually looked at his photos. They do look like Aventura. They legit look like Aventura. And so, because I reminded her of somebody that she loves, and I was pulling away from time to time, and I could be a little cold if people don't know me. Well, I was doing all of the strategies I talk about without even knowing it, right? And her mistake was that she projected. She allowed the fact that I reminded her of someone to create fantasies of what she wants, her desires, right? And so that's one thing. It's that this is pretty much all about the insecure people and people who you are their strength, who you are, who they want to be, right? Now, now the next thing, oh Lord, more quizzes, people. Okay, so the next thing you got to do outside of make sure that they react to you, be willing to walk away, make sure they're your weakness. You can't seduce someone who don't give a fuck about you. And above all, make sure that they need what you offer to them. Make sure that what you are is what they lack. If they're not assertive, make sure that you're the assertive one. If they're introvert, then being outgoing will cause them to actually project and desire to be with you because you are what they lack. It's pretty much it, right? Now, the next thing is a bit of harsh criticism. As long as it's real criticism based on things that are real, a harsh criticism. This is evil, people. This is what I tell you. And the funny thing is, this is what happens naturally when you like people. You actually criticize them, because you have differences. But this one is harsh and real, which causes people to start self-reflect and say, what's wrong with me? Did I do something wrong? Are they going to stop want to be friends with me? And this self-reflection will cause them to think of you in your absence and to seek your validation because you pissed them off. And as long as you act normal after the criticism, it actually hits harder. Now, why do I say this? Well, because even if you're not trying to manipulate, it still works. I mean, that's the thing, right? In school, I used to be very bad. And so I used to like a lot of my teachers because they criticized me a lot and I was trying to impress them. But because I was so bad at controlling my behavior, they were like, Alexis, you always apologize and do the same shit. What's the point, right? But the harsh criticism causes people to seek your validation more. And above all, triangulate. Now again, this is evil. But this is where, like with the girl that I was telling you about, the one that we played softball with, I used to tell her about women that I would date because I was trying to date a girl and she was actually being a little cold with me, and I would tell her about it. And looking back, I kind of remember how she looked at me sometimes. She would look away. She would be a little bit more quiet. In hindsight, it kind of hurt hearing a guy you like talking about a woman, right? But thinking about it, this made her like me more. Like that's just human nature. And it happens by accident, right? So that's one thing, triangulation. And this, when you triangulate people, you put people in a sexually competitive state. Now, the problem with this is that it's trauma-based. And as soon as you actually give people the validation, they actually get turned off. They actually become hot and cold with you. So with this one, you have to be a phantom, a ghost. You can never truly get close to them. Because once you give them what they want, they're going to want to get revenge because they feel like you've been fucking with them, right? The next one is, people, we're going to heaven right now, okay? And I'm the pilot, right? All you motherfuckers that stayed in the dark side, literally, look, there's light. There's literally heaven light right now, right? So this one is more about how to do it naturally without going straight to hell, right? This is the type that you can actually talk to Jesus about me after this, right? Now, the first thing is that, just like with the first one, they have to have natural chemistry. Now, if you guys don't know about this is actually a course that I sell to teach you guys how to develop natural chemistry with anyone that you meet. As long as you guys have natural chemistry, this course, Natural Chemistry, which is $99, right, will teach you it's like a 6-week course on how to set boundaries, learn how to develop natural chemistry without manipulation. All right? So I know it's sad, but it's true, right? And this course reveals to you whether or not somebody likes you and strengthens whatever you guys have. But essentially, you guys have natural chemistry. And how do you know that? Well, natural means not crack. Meaning, when it's crack, it's instant. When it's natural, it's a progression. When it's toxic, it's instant and then it goes down, right? Natural chemistry happens slowly. You just slowly start to like them over the next few weeks. And usually, if it's meant to be, after the first month, you're finally going to say, okay, wow, I kind of like this person, right? And that's a healthy thing. It cannot be too instant. I mean, even if it's instant, it's fine, but I prefer the slow one, right? Which then, once you meet someone and you guys are compatible, the next thing is not pulling away, motherfuckers. The next thing is just go slow. Like, don't try to speed it up. Meaning, the sex, make it slow. The kiss, make it slow. Everything, make it slow. And what this does is that you're testing the person, right? You're testing a person's character, actually. Going slow and controlling the pace causes people to reveal their weaknesses, right? And it compels them to make mistakes. And mistakes isn't like, oh no, I tripped. It's, man, I don't want to show them that I like them, but I like them so much. And you just accidentally show that you like them, right? It's an uncontrollable urge to get your validation. Just going slow. And that means that if they try to love bomb you, if they try to tell you how special you are because you're not, they don't know you, if they try to speed things up too quickly, going slow will give you more pace, will give you more control, and above all, it makes you look like somebody who has a lot of options. And on top of the fact that it just makes them want you. In fact, going slow is literally the natural process, because back then, not before dinosaurs, but back then, relationships happened slowly. And that's a natural part of human nature. So going fast is not natural. It just isn't. Going slow, it's actually what penetrates the mind, because, and when I mean slow, I mean no online dating, right? Because when you're online, they already know you like them. You want them to not know whether or not you like them for a few weeks or a few days, where they meet you through the friends and family, and they see you looking at them sometimes, but they can't assume whether or not it's really a flirty look or a look of just boredom or whatever. And so when you're not there, their absence, before they even know you like them, they're gonna say, do they really like them? And they may even start asking around, or they may do some stupid shit like me and leave a flower under her fucking bike, and she's gonna ask whether or not it was her classmate and not Father Alex, right? So going slow allows a guy to put on more of a romantic act to see whether or not you like them. But when you just tell them you like them through online dating, it removes that really special part. Now, the next thing is once you go slow with them, spend boring time with them, right? That means not doing crack, right? That means making the activity simple and repetitive. Because this is how you engrave yourself in a person's mind, through the slow burn. They see you every day, they see you consistently, and this consistent seeing you will cause them to naturally fall in love with you by accident. It's literally how parents fall in love with their kids, how friends fall in love, how classmates fall in love, right? It's like, well, it's one of those like work trips that you go with your coworker, and you do it so often, going through those work trips, that they fall in love. Like, I've seen that at work. Like, it's kind of crazy, right? So boring time, those boring time by the mind will be alchemized into a deep experience. Meaning, when they recall boring times, they're going to exaggerate how great it was. And that exaggeration is a sign that their brain is doing the dirty work for you, right? Notice how there's no manipulation here, people. Honestly, this is just natural, but because you understand the process, you're speeding it up, right? The next thing is, you guys are always going to be different. So you guys are always going to have differences. So you guys have to have tough conversations. Obviously, in the process of getting to know them, you're going to find things you disagree with them. And this is the equivalent of inflicting pain. Now, pain is, when you inflict pain, people actually grow attracted to you through trauma, right? This type of pain is that you're becoming attracted to them through the back and forth of conversation. Meaning, hey, I don't like the way you do that. Can you, and I don't, maybe you don't cuddle with me enough. Can we find a plan to do it more? Or maybe, you don't spend enough time, we don't spend enough time together. How can we make it work? And some people might say, but every time I do it with my guy, we fight. It's not meant to be, boo-boo. You guys either have to improve your communication skills or leave. Plain and simple. But this strategy reveals your character, their character, and if they actually have good character, because a man with bad and a woman actually with bad character will not be willing and able to have tough conversations. In fact, they'll turn into Jerry Springer. They'll turn like Steve will pop out of nowhere to separate you guys. But a good relationship, a person with good character, you'll be able to have these tough conversations. And with this, you'll have what I call the upward spiral, which is the conflict. Each time it happens, it elevates you guys. Each time it happens, it's uncomfortable, but each time it happens, you guys almost like stress test the relationship. And that stress test causes you guys to actually grow closer to each other, because you guys are figuring out that you guys respect each other. They respect me and I respect them. And we're able to talk about uncomfortable things. And that creates a trust that makes them fall in love with you more, because they're going to start to see that you're a good match. And also, the boring time will eliminate the toxic guys that need conflict, that need way too much dopamine, that just cannot be happy with just you, right? So the tough conversations is pretty much the inflicting pain of going to hell section, and the triangulation section is pretty much the same thing. I forgot to put this in the video, but when you're having tough conversations, you can't start off on Bronx mode, because you're gonna get them resentful. They're gonna call the cops, and then it's not gonna be good. You guys have to have warm starts. For example, you can't be, "Hey motherfucker, so you cheating?" They're already defensive. You do that in hell, okay? You want to be more, "Hey," you got to put that white girl in Africa voice. "Hey, I'm sorry, lately you've been doing this." You got to have warm starts, because the reason why most people don't like doing the tough conversations, just because they're too angry. And so every time you guys try to have a tough conversations, it turns into an episode of Jerry Springer. So it has to be warm. It cannot be accusatory, and it cannot be as a way to prove a point. Because if you do this wrong, you're pretty much creating a petty relationships. So remember, it starts with a warm start, okay? Show your, ladies and gentlemen, Father Alex has another test he can pass. Let's go with this one. Have your own life. And this is the heaven version of triangulation. And what I mean is that rather than intentionally making him compete with somebody else, just make him compete with your life. Be busy. Have things to do. Have activities that they're not allowed to do with you. Have things that they're not welcome. Have things that it's only for you and your female friends, for you and your guy friends. Who gives a fuck? But have things that are reserved for yourself, because then it makes them compete for you. Right? Next one is show your vulnerability. You know, I was saying, why the fuck did I put V? I was thinking of something else. I couldn't believe. I was like, there's no way that Alexis put that. But yeah, show your vulnerability. What do I mean by that? Well, it's what makes people fall in love. People who love you, they fall in love with your weakness. Just like parents, they don't fall in love with the child's strength. Children show their strength later on when they stop being creepy. A mother and a dad falls in love with the child's vulnerability. His weakness makes you want to take care of him. It brings out your paternal instinct, your desire to take care. So when you show people your vulnerability, which is, hey, sometimes you don't tell me that you love me enough. And I know it sucks. I know it's weird, but I need that. That a guy or a woman who loves you will find that endearing. They're not going to say, "Oh, you motherfucker, why you got to be so needy?" They're going to find that endearing, and they'll do that to make you happy. In fact, they'll want to do it because it makes you happy. And this desire, and say, "Oh, this makes you sad." Okay. There's going to be the way they see you. It's almost like a desire to make sure that nobody hurts you. It is a desire to protect you. Actually, it's like okay, no problem. Like I really want to make you happy, and this is actually what causes anybody to fall in love with you. And this desire to protect you makes them think of you. They become your bodyguard, your life partner. And because of that, they feel responsible to make you happy, responsible to protect you. And that causes them to think about you consistently. That causes you to dominate their mind. And so what you're using is that you're using weakness as a strength. Rather than using weakness as a way to control them, you use weakness as a way for him or her to help you, but also, hopefully, this causes them to show their vulnerable side, and then you try to help them as well. And it has the same effect, where both of you guys help each other's weaknesses, and every time you show support and vice versa, you guys have, like, your morale as a relationship grows, because you grow to love and respect them, and they grow to love and respect you. So this strategy is pretty much based on love and respect. You know, the dark side over there is meant on pain and manipulation. You know, you choose what you want. Just make sure y'all don't bring me up during the judgment day, because Father Alex is gonna be, you know, hanging out with Jesus. Anyway, so remember, he has to have natural chemistry with you. Go slow, spend boring time, have tough conversations and conflict. And that's how you find out, and that's how you guys become compatible, through literally talking about it. Don't just hold it in. Don't talk to your friends about it. Talk to them about it. Like, I get a lot of people talk to me and say, Father Alex, my guy doesn't do this for me. What should I do? I'm like, why are you talking to me? Go talk to him. The fuck? like I'm not Black Jesus. I don't just say change and it changes. So like, people really think I could just like bless any relationship. I'm like, it'll be the opposite actually. Show your vulnerability. Use weakness as strength. Have your own life so that they can compete for your own life. The upward spiral. And the hell section is that for you to use these evil, dark, straight to hell, Luciferian strategies, they either like you or they won't. So this doesn't work on everyone, right? You have to be willing to walk away, and to apply these evil ones, you gotta be their weakness, let your absence do the dirty work for you, right? And what you want to be able to do is, from time to time, apply harsh, real criticism, which causes people to self-reflect. I know it's evil. And use triangulation to put them in a sexually competitive state. And that's how you go straight to hell, all right? If you guys want to apply these strategies in your life and want to check out my courses, check out the course Psychological Game of Attraction. It's a course for people who are single, who want to go from single to relationship. That course is actually this, like, evil type of shit. And the other one is Natural Chemistry, which is a course on how to build natural chemistry without going straight to hell. Take care.